Okay, here we are, everybody. We are live, and it's Jeff Eichen here, and we're going to admit our co-host today, Carrie Cannon. See if we can get Carrie in, and we are going to be getting started here in just a second. We're trying to do some tech support for one of our lovely people that's trying not to go to prison. So let's see if I got a little bit of light on my face there this morning. So loving you up, everybody. Hemp Hooray. Don't forget that we have lots to talk about today. And whether we can get Carrie in or not, we'll give her a try. She is doing a restart. So I'm going to go right now to share my screen with you all and give you our intro. So everybody, bear with me for a second, and we will have an intro, behind the scenes intro. And here we go. Hold space for Dan Harrer today and everybody else on our global human tribe. This is Jeff Eichen with Weedsdays here today. Talked to Tracy last night. Beautiful. We'll try to get Tracy on today. And behind the scenes, I'll come in and text periodically. So let's get rid of this. Here we go. Last week's show was epic. Tommy Chong was there, and new prisoners that are coming home were there. Betty White is now in paradise, and pray for Colorado. All the people who lost their homes. Let's build hemp 3D homes in Colorado. And today, Carrie is going to be talking about her trial, scheduled to start in 79 days. Mass public support needed to keep a husband and wife from being incarcerated for illegally required destruction of wild hemp in Missouri. I mean, Missouri, come on, everybody, is where I went and convinced them to assist and help Jeff Mazansky come home. Jeff Mazansky also assisted in making, medical legal there. Come on, everybody, get busy. So it says here, while running for office, if you have yet to sign the petition, please do. If you have signed, thank you. Please share. Drop all charges, 10 years. So this is on my Facebook if you want to click on that, everybody. Here we'll try to get Carrie in again. And that was a beautiful share with my site there. So let's see if we can get rid of this and go back to me here. And so finally we have landing on the moon. Carrie's connecting to audio now, and we're really blessed to have Carrie on board today. And Carrie, you can unmute yourself and come on in.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, Carrie, how are you? Thank you for being persistent.
Thank you. Yeah, it took a minute to get in here, some technical difficulties. Thank you for inviting me today.
Hey, well, today's a pretty decent day to welcome everybody into the first of the year. I have my people always used to ask me when I was a DJ. I was Jeffrey Fresh on the Wheels of Steel. They used to ask me what I was why I was so smooth. They would say, and I would say, well, for my 8 o'clock show, I'd wake up at 5 and write it down and read my show. So for the moment in time here, I'm going to read our intro here. And so we have a beautiful guest here, and her audio is coming on. That's Kirsten. And we're going to tell you a little bit about Kirsten as it goes. But I'm going to read, everybody. I'm going to pin myself to the top here, and I'm going to read my intro. It says, "Please hold space for Dan Harrer he's in for minor surgery today. So that's Jack Hare's son. And we are planning a golf tournament to raise money for the prisoners, with the likes of Mike Tyson and other people that were just sharing a little bit of who's going to be there, what's going to happen. And for our side of the can do, we can do this and we're going to do this. So today, please hold space for Dan Hare. He's in for a minor surgery. And the edit of last week's show will be incredible because it featured Tommy Chong and a myriad of incredible humans and some new people that just came home with their children. So don't forget, send me moolah to help me finance my next movie, which is about the families. So good morning, Vietnam, everybody. We are so glad to be here. And let's see, in the front end of 2022. And my one-liner for 2022 is you be you in 22. And you already know that marijuana is safer than alcohol. So this is the Pee Wee Herman haha of Pod, Jeff Eichen. And as many of you heard last week on World 420 Day with Sir Tommy Chong, we are going to hold Tommy's whatever to the fire, to his connects to the Biden's relationship, and get us to Papa Bear Joe and Kamala, and have them assist us. We're going to assist them and convince them to free all 420 prisoners and end prohibitions across the board in my lifetime. And it seems like a perfect time now because Tommy has spoken to us more than once about knowing the Bidens, okay? Whether it's Hunter, it doesn't matter how we get in there. We are just going to take a small group. We're going to take a small video that I'm going to produce, and we're going to put an end to this and see if the CARES Act can go through. And the hypocrisy of anybody even thinking about going into jail again or still is unbelievable. So we had in our intro the jury nullification and the Lance Glore t-shirt. So we need to bring them home. Can you believe the hypocritical BS we're still in, the danger of being in the slammer for pot and cannabis, medical, paper, plastic, and food? Please welcome Carrie Cannon and Kirsten and the true stories. Take it away, Carrie. So glad to see you and that you're free with a voice on the war on people. Take it away, Carrie.
Hi. Unfortunately, yeah, there's so many people locked up and still so many people who are being arrested and prosecuted over this healing plant.
Can you elaborate on that? You mean people are still being arrested when there's 37 states legal?
Still being arrested. Right now we have Adela and her husband Aaron Wisdom, who are facing 11 years each in what I can only find to be a politically motivated case. They were both running for office in Missouri, and we're doing a legally required act. There's hemp that grows wild in Missouri, and one of the laws there is if something's growing on your property that you are required to destroy it. So they were destroying wild hemp plants on their property, and all of a sudden men with guns showed up and put them in cuffs. So now they're facing 11 years each. They've twisted this into that they were destroying evidence and trying to say that they were, doing illegal growing when all they were doing was following the state law of destroying. Their trial starts in 79 days.
And is there a petition? Is there something that we can be proactive to make awareness to this besides going global, folks, and not letting anybody go into jail anymore for pot? Come on, everybody.
Absolutely. There's a petition on Adela's website. It's adelawisdom.com, ADELA,
okay.
WISDOM.com. And I've been support photos of people from around the country and world. I'm holding up a handwritten sign that says drop all charges against Aaron and Adela, and those will be sent into the court. Court support's very important. We all can't make it, but we can all send our support to the court.
And tell us what your feelings are in the history of your being an activist for so many years. about the support in the court. Will they read these letters, or will they just skim them and say, hey, there's another one in support of not, being arrested?
They definitely read them. They definitely take notice to the public support. There was Peggy Sue and Glenn Keeling in Ohio, who I did, the same call for action for. I've never stepped foot in the state of Ohio, but I did collect hundreds of photos from people for them around the world, and mailed them into the court, had them entered as official evidence into their case files.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I didn't have the financial means to be there at any of their hearings or their sentencing. I wish I could have been. But much to my surprise, people who were there have told me that the judge held up the binder of the photo collages of all the supporters for them and mentioned that I had sent them in. And this is a judge who there's well-documented corruption going on in that county that he's turned a blind eye to. So this wasn't a compassionate judge who's lenient. This was a judge who had his heart touched by the public support.
Well, that's amazing. And so you're speaking about Adela, right?
Yes.
I just pinged her, and she wanted to come on last week, and so we're really amazed and happy to figure this out for us. So everybody, what is the can you in the chat box here? I'll give you a chat box here. Let's see if I can pull my chat box up here. There it is. So
and I don't know I don't know if I mentioned with Peggy and Glenn at their sentencing, they were facing over 50 years each, and they got 0 prison time.
I do remember that. I was also in Ohio, and I was there with you all on that given day, and I filmed you. Like with Jeff Mazansky in Missouri, went back in 2015. We had 350,000 signatures. They do make a difference, everybody. So if you could, in the chat box, send me the advocacy email. People can email this to, or is there a document that is already online where they just push a button? You there, Carrie? Okay, so Carrie is in the ethers. She'll be back. Maybe she's figuring out how to chat with me here. So everybody, don't forget, Della's in 79 days facing prison time for destroying plants, which she was told to do. And do the dogs have a voice? Can they talk?
Can you see me right now?
Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome, Kirsten, my wonderful friend from our original movie, and my friend in Washington State here. Kirsten, tell us a little bit about the end and the beginning of the year, and some hope for your beautiful relationship with the plant.
Well, I'm trying to find somebody who will license me to grow, because the person that's done it for years hasn't responded to me. I need a person that has common convictions and won't hassle me. There's a local doctor in town that writes that script so you can garden, and I don't want it billed to my insurance. My husband's a veteran. I don't want it going to TRICARE, and I'm just uncomfortable. I like it being separate from any medical that I could possibly face at some point. Also from scrutiny on, I don't know, potential insurance companies. I just don't want records of that connected to me and everything else in my life. I resent that I have to do it at all, but the person that I usually have hasn't returned my call. So basically right now I'm in a gray zone. I guess somebody could come to my house, and I'm not in compliance at this point.
You mean because even though
expired,
though you're a medical patient?
yeah, I think that if somebody wanted to, they could send someone here at this point. I think I'm small fry, but to make a point, or I don't know, I just feel like with the luck I have, I can see it happening.
Well, we're gonna root for you. Tell us a little bit about your backstory, how cannabis came into your life.
Cannabis came into my life after Washington State Department of Health and Swedish Medical Oncology for breast cancer committed the lab omission for a year and a half when I allowed them access to my body. And they went to the Department of Health, DOH, armed agents raided his clinic in 2013, the naturopath who did cancer vaccine from your own isolated and amplified immune cells. And Swedish said, you can't have that. So when you read articles or see broadcasting about immunotherapy being a failure or not what everybody had hoped, it's because they bastardized it and make your own amplified immune cells, if they're even in there, take the back seat to their profit-making product. So cancer vaccine got me off my deathbed in 10 days after infusing 6 days of my own amplified immune cells. So 4 days after I completed those 6 days, day 10, I got off my deathbed, literally. And that was 11 years ago this month.
And what form, because as a host of my show and of my movie, I always have been not allowed or able or willing to be my own testimonial. What form and what feels the best right now medicinally, and what have you learned through the years of trying different cannabis products, 420 cannabinoidal, hemp products?
Well, I grow my own, Sheldon, no. I grow my own plants, and I'm very careful about how I take care of them, from planting in the ground to washing before I cut them down. I'll go out with a pump sprayer of 2.5 pH water and completely saturate the entire plant just to really sanitize it and prepare it for dunking in 11.5 pH water. So they're very clean, they get a little dose of hydrogen, and then they're set up to dry. I'm not a good grower, I'm really not. And with stage 4 cancer and a left radical mastectomy, days are hard anyway. So I'm pretty overwhelmed when I'm taking care of a garden and life in general. So, and I'm a one-person operation. I don't have help with any of it.
Is that my photograph? Is that my photograph behind you?
Yeah.
Whoa, nice. Not many people own that, but people love that one. That's a beauty.
Yeah, I like it. I can lay on my bed. My bed is oriented, floating in the room, so I can see out the window at the stars from this way, and then the slider behind me. And I can see it just when I lay in bed. It's great.
So we go swimming together when you journey in that photo. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. The idea, everybody here, is to share, to care, and to let everybody know that marijuana is and cannabis is not the boogeyman.
No, and I had trepidation. I totally feared that I would enter a bracketed period of time, inescapable terror, if I fixated on what happened to me after surgery for several months with a regrowth. They failed to get margins, and I had a huge tumor necrotic this time. So I was getting 3 to 4 units of O positive every 3 to 5 days. I was dying. And so when everything that saved my life was taken by Washington State and Swedish Mafia, I call them, I went to my garden, and that's where it started. The first time I had the cannabis, it it was just such a relief. I felt for the first time in a year, peace and relaxation that I hadn't felt physically. Like even if I had it mentally, like acceptance and everything, the physical effects were just insurmountable. Just the whole change of the body and its anatomy and the year-long wound care. Cannabis wasn't scary at all. It has helped so much and continues to. The anti-inflammatory, vasodilation, watching what's happening with a family member who's using it for the first time in 30 plus years because of work that prohibited it. Watching things like enlarged prostate relief that pharmaceuticals wouldn't touch for 20 years. It's an amazing plant. It's intelligent. It knows what it needs to do once you consume it, however you want to do that. Inhalation, I do that to the tumors in my lungs. I make topicals so my skin can absorb it. Also helps with pain. Let's see. I use it on my animals. I do. In fact, today one's having a timeout with a little bit because he's just too emotional.
You mean animals are people too?
Mine, if they need something, will get it. And actually, I have a cat using it right now also.
How many of these big creatures are in your flock?
We have 6 dogs and a cat, and actually we have chickens. I've not given it to them. I don't know if chickens have endocannabinoid system. I don't know, maybe, but we also have used it with our horses. So.
And do you put hemp seed in the animals' food?
Yeah, we feed them raw, and so I make their plates every day, and they get hemp seed in them. Also chia and others.
Well, everybody take care of yourselves, and it is a journey of self-care. And the testimonial that was, God, 5 years ago in my movie was one of the most powerful spots in my movie when Kirsten and I met and went into the space of just joining hands to tell the world that the medicine is important. Look at Israel. Look at Israel, Dr. Machulam, who's 96, who located the THC molecule back in the 90s or 80s or 70s, and they're freely being able to be able to study it. And in America, we can't, hardly, barely. And so with Kirsten's legacy, it's just a brilliant moment in time. We're going to get the Canna Moms on again too to bring the baby Landon back. They say they cured his brain tumor with cannabinoids.
Can I ask Kirsten a question real quick?
Come on in, Carrie.
Is it a doctor recommend that you're needing, or?
I'm sorry?
Is it a doctor recommendation you're needing for your garden, or?
Yeah, I need, well, I can go to the retail places and get it that way, but I don't want to do it through them either. I did it through a private naturopathic doctor, and I paid out of pocket for it, and it is not a part of any official record. And I need that again. I'm already in a database for tracking for cancer. You're given an EIN, and as soon as you have a diagnosis, you're put in a database and tracked. The day after the raid, a cancer registry follow-up form from Swedish came to the clinic, and they had highlighted portions of it asking the situation and the whereabouts of his patient, me. I was their patient too. They never reached out to me. The last time I saw the oncologist, I asked why they destroyed a clinic and murdered my friends basically, and with razor teeth and a horrible, horrible grimace, she screamed at me in the examination room. Kirsten, we did that for your own protection. And I thought that was strangely worded for one, but they I don't want to be in a database for cannabis. If I'm pulled over for a car accident, I don't want that to flash up on the cruiser's info. I don't know what people are looking at. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I also just feel like I've got enough intrusion in my life at this point.
Understandable. Okay, I was just seeking clarity to see if there was anything that I could help.
By the way, ladies, Carrie, meet Kirsten, and Paula. You can unmute yourself and introduce yourself also, Paula.
It's really breaking up right now. I don't know why.
Carrie's got a microphone that's scratching. Paula, are you with us? Are you with us, Paula?
I absolutely am. So my name is Paula James, and I'm the Director of Community and Government Affairs and a Special Projects Manager in Senate District 10 for New York State. Senators James Saunders. We have cannabis initiatives, providing education, community outreach, and so I'm so happy to have been invited to hear from folks like yourselves and learn from folks like yourselves. I'm going to drop my email in the chat. If anyone would like to follow up, feel free to reach out. And please do continue to invite me because this is tremendous to actually hear real concerns and real voice in this space.
Well, we're grateful to have you, Paula, to meet you. We take every inch of assistance in the war on people. It used to be the war on drugs, and so at a DPA meeting in gosh, I don't remember where I was, but it could have been Washington, D.C. They said it's the war on people. And so let's see, let's see if I can get my my sound effects here. I love technology, everybody. And when I get to be a DJ, I like to play sound effects. So we're giving applause for the plant, and nobody should be in jail for a plant. And Paula, you're a superstar on your side of the field. Carrie, you're always a superstar. We're so glad to have you. And Kirsten, we're glad to have you and your puppy dogs. We're at the beginning of the year, everybody. UBU in 22. I'm going to share my screen with you for a minute because what makes good TV is interesting tidbits. I read this morning that that we're going to hold Tommy Chong and his connection to the Bidens. We're going to make a barbecue and put their little behinds on that barbecue till they're hot enough to blast us to the White House. And in my lifetime, I would love to see this happen. I was on a room last night with Kristen Floor and Stephanie Landa, and we had just an incredible night. Lanier was on there, and he was in jail for 27 years. He's a race car driver, and he's been on my show many times. And so he's out now. He's an advocate. He has a episode on Netflix, and soon we're going to be on Roku. So thank you so much to Pod TV for hosting us today. We love you, Pod TV, and we can't wait to go to Roku or to wherever we're going to go and expand the information that needs to be heard. So I'm going to share with you, everybody, a little bit about the digital coin world is an incredible opportunity for us to do social raising money for our prisoners. And I have been minting my NFT photography for several months now, and successfully we want to be successful with a fund we're going to make called the Relief Fund, which is RELEAF, and we want to send every prisoner and their family relief funds. And there's few of them out there right now, and of course with the Can Do Clemency and with Kristen Floor and everybody on their team. They're doing an incredible job raising money for the prisoners. But what we're going to do is have a golf tournament here this year, and we're going to raise what we can to produce a concert with Snoop and Willie. And if Snoop and Willie hear this, if they come in, if anybody out there in Canaland knows them, bring them to us, because we want to have once and for all a big concert. Then we'll take 30 seconds from that concert of all the prisoners on stage waving to the Bidens and saying, please bring our brothers and sisters home and end the madness. So that through film, through those 30 seconds, it's going to be really an amazing time. So I'm going to share my screen with you, everybody, here just for a second, because it's a good TV, I believe. It's my show. I can do whatever I freaking want. And so I'm glad to be surrounded by these beautiful Canna mamas and Canna ladies here, and people in the industry. But I'm going to show you here what I've been doing all fall and winter is I've been photographing our beautiful mama plant. And these are thumbnails on my site, and these are the photographs that are going to be gifted as NFTs, and we're going to be selling these photographs for the relief fund. And so these are just a few of my Photoshop wizardry. NFWT means the non-functional weed token. I made that up. See what it says in the back? It says Jeffrey approved. So I made this little coin in Photoshop, took an original one, and I got the URL NFWT. So instead of NFT, these photographs that I've made are going to all be gifted into that space, and we are going to hold a fund for relief. So enjoy the mama plant as I did. I've never spent so much time with the beautiful plants this year, and photographing them opened my heart and my wisdom to their energy. You know, the Fibonacci, which is in everything, is taking shape through some of my collaging, and I'm just really I'm ecstatic doing this project. And so I'm sharing with everybody an art time on Weedsday here with my drop yet to come. Black and white still rocks and rules the roost. Here's my Lifers a Movie poster, 3D poster. So here we go. Nobody deserves to be in prison. And I can feel the light. Purple haze. That was my autoflower purple haze. And so we are going to have a golf tournament. Don't know if that golf cart's going to be there, but I made that in Photoshop. So just enjoy sharing the word, and everything that you have to offer is really important. We listen, we hear you. Let's see if I can get rid of the visit shop there. There we go. It's more beautiful that way. So, so yes, this is my drop. If you just stopped in, everybody, that's going to happen soon. We're going to have maybe a Weedsday on a 420 Super Day. We'll do a drop party, and drop parties are where we sell most of our work, and we're going to raise money for, see what it says, Project X, and see the big X there, relief. And these are just collages that I've been doing late at night. You know, I'll imbibe and hang out and watch some Voice or some old movies, and just sit on my laptop and pull these together. Each frame takes about an hour to make, and then the photographs, bringing them in, are not 10 minutes. So each piece of art takes a long time to render and to make. And so I hope that everybody chooses the one they want and starts to support us, because it starts with beautiful ideas, and raising the money for food and shelter is my dream. And then getting to the White House. So these are my photographs, everybody. It all happened this year. And I'm just really excited to spend time with the flower, the mama flower, and for you to choose the one you want. And then they'll also be available to order as a canvas print for your house. So I'll fast forward here for a second here and show you. Here's a black and white one that's pretty cool. That one's pretty cool. And here's another black and white one. I'm just a black and white fan, even though the plant looks gorgeous in color. So here's Elliot's special. Elliot is my friend who had a stroke in Hawaii, and he sent me these seeds. And there's Elliot's plants and my beautiful photography that helps to set off Elliot's plants. And I decided to put them in vases. And so that's pretty cool. And then I did these 3 this week. I'm having a 1 series where I'm going to put 1 into every photograph. And that's a chocolate Buddha. And then the one I did last night, I was really happy with. Let's see if we can pull her up here. And there it is. That's the one from last night. So again, let's give a DJ horn for this. For this project to raise money for our prisoners that have been freaking in jail for too long. And I'll come out of my share here and gift you back, gift us back to, we have a few more minutes left on our show here. Carrie, tell us what's going on with all of our advocacy.
Oh, where to start? Well, we're still collecting the support photos for Lance Glore. For the listening audience who isn't aware, he is serving a 10-year federal prison sentence for legal medical cannabis in Washington State.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Right. I've been working with his mom for several years. We've been collecting photos of anybody and everybody who's against his injustice, to hold up a handwritten free Lance Glore sign. I arrange those into collages, and then we send Lance copies so he knows that he's not forgotten and that we're out here fighting for him while he is unjustly incarcerated. And the photos also get sent to the White House in support of his pending clemency petition.
I almost wore my Lance Glore shirt today, but it was in my intro. And so everybody hold space for everybody who's still behind bars. We're not done yet.
Not even close. I need to send you a new freelance Glore shirt. I actually did a collaboration on a stencil with Safer Shirts.
Oh, great.
And it's caging people for cannabis doesn't keep us safer, with the hashtag freelance Glore at the bottom. And I should also send you one like that with the hashtag justice for the wisdoms.
Okay, hang on just a minute. I'm texting right now. I'm texting right now on my phone. Come on now, please. And I just texted Tracy Glore. so
okay.
We'll see if we can get Tracy on today. Paula, are you in a space where you can tell us a little bit more about your projects?
Sorry, I had to find unmute there.
There you go.
Yeah, we've actually had a few. So we're one office, but we've had a successful education initiative in which we taught over 80 residents of New York State, everything from cannabis dispensary to cannabis extraction and infusion, cannabis cultivation. So we work in different tiers, trying to get access to entrepreneurship for people who are currently in business. Some people would like to be in business, workforce development, thinking about expungement clinics there's just a lot of arms and legs to what we do. But I would like to say on this call that it is not possible without the grassroots work of folks like yourselves.
And what is the climate of legalization on the East Coast?
So as I stated, we are in New York, and it is legal. All right, we have MRTA and the law has rolled out, but the regulations are still to be devised. And so we speak to folks like you guys to find out what is happening in other parts of the country, and real stories to understand the things that we need to fight for regarding the regulations to ensure that they're fair and just. I'm very interested in hearing more about the information Kerry had shared. And Kerry, I'm just going to ask for you to reach out to me directly in regards, but I would really, really like to continue to meet with you guys, because in this short space of time, there's been some impactful sharing, and I think that should be at the forefront of any movement.
I will absolutely email you, Paula. Thank you. And I'm curious, do you guys have a website for anybody who'd like to check out your work or get involved?
So it's New York State Senator Saunders, and we're on, regular mainstream media, Facebook. But if you want some detailed information when you emailed me, what I can do is I will share what I have for you, and then we can discuss further any questions that you have regarding what we're doing and other work that we have in the works.
Fantastic.
Awesome. I will get with you later this week. Thank you so much.
Yeah, fantastic.
No worries.
Fantastic, Paula. Is there any links you want to share with the with my my audience? I can put it up there. You can put it in the chat. You with us, Paula?
I was speaking away a while on mute. My apologies.
No worries. No worries. Love you.
I actually tried to drop it in the chat, and it didn't afford me that option. But what I can do is I will email you so that you can put it out. And then you and I can speak further regarding anything. If I need to condense it into a one-pager to make it easy to view, then I can do that way as well.
Right. The power of what we're about to do here this year is to assist the CARES Act and everybody that believes in us and get straight into DC and help to end prohibition. So when you have your ducks in a row, get them to us. Carrie's really a phenomenal activist. She's been at it forever, tirelessly, and we also have a medical patient here today too, Kirsten, and we're so blessed that that you can be the voice, Kirsten, of successful cannabinoids, and nobody should be locked up or not able to grow it just because alcohol's legal.
Yeah.
Well, I got my shirt on today,
Yeah. Shelby, no, don't push. Awesome. It is safer than alcohol.
Yeah, well, alcohol hits the liver and it makes you angry more so than pot does. I think marijuana is the gateway drug to the munchies.
It doesn't do that for me.
It's pretty amazing.
I like juicing it raw. I actually made my most recent ganache truffles in the freezer are toasted cannabis, because I save all of the vaporized cannabis flowers from my Volcano Digit vaporizer. I save all of that, and then when I make the truffle, I use that toasted cannabis, and this last batch is tonka and lavender. They are so amazing.
I'm coming over. Come on, we're local.
I didn't know you wanted truffle. It has cream and butter.
That's okay. I'll go off my vegan diet for a homemade chocolate truffle. I'm not an edible kind of guy with my partaking. I've got so much work to do that I know each of us have our favorite flower and our favorite strain. I would hope somebody the other day came over and said, "Oh yeah, I only smoke one strain," and that was that. You know,
No,
because
I want a variety.
I understand that, but I'm just saying one person came over, you know, and it's about knowing yourself, your
Yeah.
tolerance, your strains. And so one day when we get to be able to share our paperwork with Israel and the people that have been doing all the medical research, we might be able to get a book and cannabis doctors legally to be able to tell you which strain for what you have and how much for your body rate or your tolerance. And you start slow.
Yeah. I like self-directed care. Self-care is best care. Really.
Didn't you say that the Rick Simpson oil works best with with having CBD and Rick together?
Well, CBD is wonderful. It's a good cannabis light, so to speak. Higher CBD strains are less effective or beneficial for somebody with a chronic condition like triple negative stage 4 metaplastic carcinoma or heart disease or whatever it is that you've got going on that's a chronic wasting disease or life threatening. It's so sad when people are told to take CBD for something like that because no, it's not going to work and it will fail. So the highest THC strains are what I'm interested in, and frankly, I'm just grateful whatever strains I can get in clones for the year with the highest THC. And I've got the sweetest friend. He's a young guy, and the last 2 years he hasn't even charged me for them. He's just gifted me my plants, and then you gifted me plants, and I'm just so grateful. And then because my garden really failed last year, the previous year, I called you and I said, I need help. And you connected me with a wonderful person in a place near us who got some friends and they all donated. So I had enough to sustain me. And so my garden came through this year. I've never had to do that before, but the community of people, strangers, some I've never even met, blessed me.
It's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful ride with you, Kirsten. I mean, we saw birth from your child. You have a granddaughter now, or grandson. Grandson
Yeah.
now, yeah. Well, with my ex-grandson is now a woman, so maybe you never know. You never know. So I say better trans than dead. So whatever you're floating your boat, everybody, be an activist. First of the year here, first program of the year. We're getting ready to do some incredible activism, coming to the White House, bringing Tommy Chong, working with some people that have some power and we got to put those people's feet to the fire. I saw Oprah with a bulletproof vest on 60 Minutes going into lockdown because California decided to stop lockdown. And lockdown, which Randy Lanier said last night in a room, he was in lockdown for like 7 years, meaning you couldn't be with anybody else. And he said for 2 of those years, it was a solitary room. And I've heard other cannabis prisoners that have been in lockdown with no windows in a room.
The thing about incarceration is the people who are taking the cannabis generally need it because they have a endocannabinoid breakdown and deficiency of that nutrient, and it leads to suffering. So the solution is to completely destroy their access to that. Even if I had a medical paper with a doctor recommendation, if I was put in prison, would I be allowed access to what keeps me alive?
Amazing. Carrie, you have something to say, Carrie?
A lot of the cannabis prisoners, probably if not all of them, have been in lockdown for basically the whole pandemic. And unfortunately, we have terrible outbreaks happening. And I know federal prisons, there's a big problem in a lot of them with a lot of corona outbreaks. So they're not safe, and a lot of them are understaffed. So the prisoners aren't getting the proper care that they need.
When they get COVID, do they get any attention? Do they take them out and give them a private bed? What's the deal?
I know of one. I will who will remain nameless because I haven't been given permission to publicly speak about it. But they got COVID. They were, after a few days of really being in bad shape and having another inmate pretty much advocate for them to be treated, they were sent to the hospital, sent back due to short staffing. Sometimes they don't get their medication for 4 days in a row on something like an antibiotic that you need multiple times a day.
Right, just to breathe. I mean, it's very amazing. It's like, remember the cruise ship that that was in the dock for like 3 months with people in the beginning, and now cruise ships are open again. That must be the identical in prisons.
Yeah, I mean they're on lockdown and they're not getting their regular time to often make phone calls or emails or outside time. It's just, I mean, it's been rough enough for the general public, but imagine being in prison for that. So it's really important for people to advocate for our prisoners, and it's awesome that you guys are getting a group together to go to the White House. I hope somehow by the grace of the universe, I'm able to join you guys there. But even if I can't or anybody else who can't, we still have a voice. There is an email for the White House. We can contact them and let them know that we are not in favor of our fellow citizens being incarcerated for cannabis. One of my calls to action for Lance is to email the White House and just a simple, polite, no one should be caged for cannabis. Freelance Glore with his prisoner number, which is 44270-086. And the email is whitehouse.gov/contact. And we can do that for Lance. We can do that for every federal prisoner. People can email their governors for their state cannabis prisoners. I just don't want anybody to doubt that a little action can do good, because it can. And the more people we get doing it, the bigger those actions become.
Can you throw that in the chat and I'll post it here with my other posts right now?
Sure. Let me see if I can figure out how to get back to the chat.
I'll just chat you here. Yo. So everybody, we're on Weedsday here, and it's the first of the year, and each show is unique and special. And today's show, we're focusing on raising funds for the prisoners coming home. And I've yet to tell you about my art project. I want to have the prisoners in prison make art for us, and we'll NFT them, and the money will be shared to go to their families, because they've been taken off the workforce. And so how do the families pay their rent? And when daddy was or mommy was the breadwinner. So our compassion, our empathy, our everything is, like I said, Oprah had a bulletproof vest on 60 Minutes last year going into the California prisons. She did her job. I was very upset with the Dalai Lama and Deepak and some of the super, musical stars for not stepping up and helping us in this realm. So I plan a concert this year or next year with everybody, Earth, Wind, and Fire, everybody, because in the old days, you had to hide the jazz musicians were all high, but they were making beautiful music. I mean, what's the deal? And it wasn't opium. It was the lighter side of creativity by microdosing now, which is a incredible enhancer to creativity. Again, it's your choice. Be careful. Be honorable with the children, and let's get the job done, everybody. So let's see here. If I I've got a little bit of, here we go. So I've got freelance Glore here. Boom, Command C. And then we're going to go boom. We're going to go boom. We're going to go here. So freelance Glore. This is Lance Glore, everybody. His number, inmate number. And believe you me, as a Jewish man, I grew up with the World War II numbers, and in my family, my mother knew somebody that had been to Auschwitz, and I'm not advocating anything. I'm telling you that as a Jew, I saw a lot as a child, and it scared me enough to be doing what I'm doing now, which is putting up the whitehouse.gov contact. So everybody, do the whitehouse.gov contact freelance Glore in your subject and in your letter. Carrie, is there somewhere online where there's a letter already written, or people just say a couple lines?
There's a few petitions out there. I have one on change.org. Tracy Warpike has one on change.org. Those are the ones I can think about off the top of my head.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, and we have Paula. Paula, why don't you come back in for a second? We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you so much. So what I did is I went ahead and dropped a few links to give information regarding what we've been doing in this space. But there's just so much more. This is a start. My email is also there. So anybody, wanting to get involved in what we're doing, learn about what we're doing, give advice to us. We are an open door. And so thank you so much for having me. Unfortunately, I have another meeting and cannot stay any longer, but please do continue to keep me looped in and invite me to.
Oh, fantastic, Paula. We're so blessed to have you and your advocacy. We're at the top of the hour anyways, so I'm going to go around the room and say final words. So Paula, any final words to our prisoners still left in jail, and then we'll let you go.
It's a work in progress, but we're here for you.
Thank you, Paula. Blessings. Carrie, any final words?
I just encourage everybody to get involved, and don't give away your power by thinking you don't have any. Small actions, like I said, turn into big things when a lot of us do. We can, with little, simple, easy calls to action. And if you think somebody should do something about it, step up and do it. Lance was a complete stranger to me. His injustice just bothered me so much while I was working in the legal industry that I did something about it. And everybody else can too. I like to say I'm the nobody who did something about it.
Bless you, Carrie. Happy New Year. And
Happy New Year.
And Kirsten?
I'm just grateful to listen to people who have convictions and actually stand for something meaningful. I'm tired. I feel like I need other people to fight. So thank you for fighting.
Well, we're blessed to have you. I'm going to share my screen and put our outro on again. And thank you, ladies, for joining me, for being part of the solution. It's really a blessing and an honor to be here with you today. And Happy New Year. And let's have a Freedom New Year and get to the White House and bring Lance Glore out. And here we go with our end of the year intro, and hold some space for Dan today. Dan is having minor surgery, and here we go. Every fourth Wednesday, World 420 Day. Thank you to Tommy Chong, Donnie, God Cloud, Amy Pova, and to Betty White, almost 100. She was 17 days away. And pray for the victims. Let's make hempcrete homes. And thank you, Carrie, for sharing this with us for Adela. We'll have her on, I promise. I tried this week. And so that is totally all she wrote today, everybody. And we've got Carrie and Kirsten on. Carrie, any final words?
Please sign the petition for the Wisdoms and share that across all your social networks. It's super unfortunate what's happening to them. You know, Adela Wisdom, I know you know her, Jeff, but for anybody who doesn't, she's been a long time activist. She's done so much good. She's traveled the world. She's gone and spoke in front of like global councils. I forget which one off the top of my head. To help end prohibition. And right now, her and her husband really need our help.
I've been following them forever, so thank you so much. And final words, Kirsten?
Thank you. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, everybody who shared today.
Well, I'm blessed to be surrounded by Canna angels, and that we're making a difference. And Carrie and Kirsten, I want you guys to connect. Are you still in Washington State, Carrie?
I am. I'm out here in Granite Falls, and I would very much like to interview Kirsten sometime and maybe write an article if you're down for it.
Sure. Anything you want to talk about?
Thank you, and thank you for sharing your story with everybody.
Thank you so much for doing what you do.
Oh, I feel like it's our duty.
Yeah, I get it.
Beautiful, everybody. Hemp Hooray. We have a 3-2-1, which is, I'll do it with this hand. 3 is weed, peace is peace, and that's F Schedule 1. One day we'll watch everybody walk free. We'll bring Lance home, and we'll have a big Thanksgiving dinner for them. And we won't celebrate Christopher Columbus. We'll celebrate crumbling the empire of private prisons. Love you, everybody. Talk to you next time. This is Jeff Eichen with Weedsdays saying Hemp Hooray. Later.
Thanks, Jeff.
Later, everybody. Love you. Thanks, Carrie. Okie dokie.